And so Isabella is incredibly sexist and incredibly misogynistic, but fret not, because she's also fairly racist as well. And so
Oh, and
this
not
is
only
a
that, TJ, she also doesn't like fat people. I got some more notes for you too, but like yeah, she just hates anybody that's not white and small, like her and her husband, apparently. I don't know.
So I got a clip here, and she's talking about white Christian nationalism and saying that the Republicans are making a mistake because they are trying to distance themselves from the the category of white Christian nationalism. She's like, no, you should actually hold on to this. So let's see what she says here.
Republicans should embrace this. I'm so sick of Republicans trying to shimmy away and shy away from the whole narrative that we're white Christian nationalists. No, that's what the Republican Party should be. We should try to go back to our traditional roots. America is a white Christian nation, and it's okay that we want to maintain that nation. We want to maintain what the country was founded on. Let's embrace this. Let's stop letting the left attack us. Embrace the attacks. They always call us racist. Okay, fine, I'm racist. Actually think
so one thing that's interesting,
thinking like, why didn't that host interrupt her or like ask more questions? But I'm sitting here now at the end of it, I'm like, you can't even talk to that.
Well, because they agree. Like she goes on like Newsmax and One America News and like far right wing networks. They agree with her. They're not going to jump in and contradict her because they agree with everything as well. And I was just really amused at the end where she's like, "Yeah, you want to call us racist? Yes, we are." Because if you read the writings from slave owners in the American South, or you listen to the speeches from segregationists in the mid 20th century, you would be hard pressed to find anyone to say that they are racist. They don't say it. They never say they hate black people. They say, well, listen, I love black people. Like, black people are fantastic. They're very loving and kind. They take care of my children. They cook our meals. I only want what's best for them. But the races need to be segregated, and it's not proper. It's against the Lord. And so, like, even the people who everyone in the country would say, yes, that person is categorically a racist, never came out and said they were racist, and they never came out and said they hate black people. She's doing that. Like, she's actually worse than they are, because like she's like, yeah, fuck it, I am racist. And that's what I found pretty interesting about that.
Well,
how about yourself?
I think it comes back to your point, which you made to me and Kai, I think off recording, was that this girl is just clickbait. Her husband and everyone around her that she is out here looking like an absolute idiot for, they know it. She might know it, but I wouldn't be willing to bet she's probably the only one that doesn't. But she probably does too. I don't know. It could go either way. But they are putting her on these platforms. They are interviewing her. She is saying these outlandish things just to, you're right, like save this dying belief system. Because at the end of the day, what you just read was people describing other people like animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, these African Americans, we love them just like we love, probably the dogs that were on property back then, and we want what it's the same way I would describe like my love for my animal is what I'm saying. So, fuck you if you think that. Because at the end of the day, if you were born with one of these dumbass skin suits and a consciousness, you qualify as a human, and you should have this. We should all have the same rights. I mean, it's just, I wonder, and I'll wonder it out loud here. Are they doing it? Do they want these clicks to, are they really gaining more people this way? Or is it just like warfare to like piss off the other side, who can also get fucked, by the way. If anyone's wondering what my political views are, I hate everyone, okay? But that, I wonder, like, what really the person who is kind of running the shots on Isabel and her husband, because I really don't think it's either of them, but the person who sees this big picture and sees that, the people are clicking on it, are just clicking on it because it's, shocking. Like, what is that person's end game here? And I do think I know the answer, but the complexity, or not, I know a simple answer, and I'm not going to say it on the air because it's political, but I wonder, I know that there must be more complicated things to that too. So it's eerie almost.
My guess would be that, yes, it's correct that they know it's rage bait. They know that people are going to see this, they're going to share it, and that'll drive more engagement and make them more money. Absolutely. But you have to wonder, like, because the question is, like, do they really believe it? And the answer to that is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. If they believe it or not, it doesn't matter, because the effects of what they say are what actually matter. Now, I don't give a shit what's in your heart.
Carla always does a good job at saying this when she's with us, but how the impact, like, someone can say something and then the ripple effect of just something coming out of people's mouths.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right, because this is hate speech. Like, this is hateful. It's ignorant. It's hurtful. And I look just like her, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have, other than the fact that I'm a woman, like, obviously I do have a reason to be offended by her, but I'm not one of the biggest people who have, reason to be offended by her. And it hurts me. So I can't even imagine being a young adult, African-American, obese, or transgender, all these people that she keeps going after. And, just like scrolling TikTok and having to accidentally hear that, like, make your own social media platform. Go somewhere else. Isn't that America? You said America was founded by white people and it's supposed to be all for white people. And but we came here from another country, and allegedly, if that's the truth, like, why don't y'all go do it again? Let's try in space. Why don't we start there? Titanic. I heard they're taking tours.
I know, but God, that's a funny story too, that they're doing that. I can't believe they're doing that shit again. Yeah. That's so fucking funny. Oh God, I look, I'm not a praying man, but I will pray to any deity that does a double take on the Titanic and wipes out a few more billionaires. That would be, I will dedicate my life to that deity. But the thing with this is that a lot of times I'll get into discussions and people will ask, well, are these folks bad people? And my answer is, I don't care. I don't care if they're bad people. It's because what happens a lot of times is that, like, say, like, we were talking to Israel, someone was talking to Isabella Riley Moody, and they said, well, hey, Isabella, you're a racist. And she would say something like, oh, well, no, I actually love Black people and Hispanic people and everything. And the conversation immediately shifts from the actual content to defending her personal character. I do not give a fuck about her personal character. I care about the consequences of her actions and her words. And that's a mistake, because people have this thing in which racism is just a personal moral failing. It's like, okay, that's a bad thing to do, and so you're like, well, the person never said they were a racist, so they're not. And it's like, well, no, like, if your standard for racist is someone who wears Klan hoods, okay, good, you're not going to find a lot of racists. But when you look at, hey, this person is propagating or proposing laws, policies, cultural standards, and mores that have a disproportionately negative effect on minority groups. Yeah. That's the racist part.
That's the racist part. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And to the extent of, like, does she actually believe this? I would have leaned toward no until I saw this. And I'm going to share this with you guys here. This is an image of Isabella and her husband's baby. She's like 8 months old, and they kind of like taught her to babble the N-word, and then they recorded it and put it online. And when you're doing that, like when you're actually, your kid is not part of the business here. It's a literal baby. And so doing that to your child, it kind of makes you think you really do believe this. Like it kind of makes like what choice could I possibly, like what conclusion could I possibly come to when you're willing to say, all right, this is something this isn't a bit, but I'm going to bring my kid into this and like warp the kid's mind into thinking racism is cool.
Well,
so go ahead.
Well, I was just going to add to what you're saying there. This is a strong opinion, but my strong opinion, that's fucking child abuse.
Oh, yeah.
You are a public figure, and you did that by choice. And whether your kid likes it or not, they are going to have to deal with all this shit that you put online during their adolescence for the rest of their lives. Right. And not only that, now you've attached their face to it. Right. And I know that child is going to grow and change, but this child we're talking about like people's rights and babies' rights and shit like that. Like, this is not a baby that has a fully developed brain and can give you consent to make it a racist online forever. And that's what she just did to her child. And in my opinion, this is child abuse. That image right there, in my opinion, is enough for those parents to lose their children. So, and let's talk about that even like on a surface level thing. Like, let's say that they do believe it. They're super racist. And in their home, there is absolutely like nothing wrong with the N-word, right? Okay, fine. But fine. But that little white child, whether they like it or not, is going to have to go out into this world. Yep. And my kid is going to rock that kid's shit the first time they hear the N-word out of his mouth or her mouth. I don't care. Like, and it might not be my kid, but there's going to be other, kids coming up out of this.
There will be a line. There will be a line.
We're going to have no fucking tolerance for it, So you're putting your child in so many different layers of danger. Let's not even talk about like internet danger and blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, so my heart broke for that child first when I saw that image. Shame on you, Isabella, as a fucking mother. That haunts you forever. Okay?
And Isabella's going to be that kid's mom forever. Like the kid can't separate that. Like there's no, like, no matter what happens, like, oh yeah, that your mom is the racist bitch. Like that's what's going to happen. And yeah, it's like, there was a news story a while ago, several years ago, I remember. And there was a couple that had a child, and they named the child like Adolf Aryan or something like that. And like it went to court or something. Like and they say, no, you can't name your kid that. And there aren't like a whole lot of rules. Like you can pretty much name your kid whatever you want. But when they did that, it's like, no.
Has no choice until he's 18. And then even when he's 18, he has to pay a enormous amount of money to fix that shit.
Yeah. And so like it's interesting that you can just do that. So yeah, you can saddle kids with this, and I agree. I think it is child abuse.